Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day. Today I wanted to talk about my setup. It's a video that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I knew a lot of changes were coming, so I decided to wait a bit. So we're gonna start with the desk that I use, actually the two desks, and then the gear I use for all the tech. And then we're gonna touch a bit on the decorations that I have to make this place nicer. So let's get started with the desk. Some people say size doesn't matter, and I think that there are definitely exceptions to that, and the desk is definitely one of them. So like many other things, desks come in different shapes and sizes, and well, I like mine long and large, so I have a bit more to work with. So this desk is actually 60 by 27 inches, I believe, so it's a pretty large desk. And full disclosure, it was actually a gift that I received. I went with a lighter walnut finish because I wanted to have a bit more light in this room. Yeah, so it's a standing desk by Fully. It's the Jarvis model with the veneer wood. And I went also with the smart remote option just because I thought it'd be nice to just be able to, have your settings preset. And I used 3 out of the 4 settings. I have one for when I'm sitting, one for when I'm standing, another one which is just the highest that it can go without breaking the shelves up there. So I make sure that I never break them. And I definitely use the stand-up position quite a lot. I find that it helps me to focus, and especially in meetings when they get a bit longer, it definitely helps a lot. And just being able to move a bit is really nice. And at first I wasn't sure if it was going to be too big, but I actually really like this size because I have a bit more space, like I said. And I have another desk next to it, which is a drafting table that I received also as a gift a few years ago. I believe it was on my birthday, I'm not sure. And I used it a ton, especially when I was in design school, to of course draw. But now I use it like a ton for B-roll, because I find that the black finish really contrasts as well with anything that I'm shooting. And it was also super nice to have during the pandemic, during the lockdowns. The pandemic isn't over. But yeah, because both me and my girlfriend were studying, and we had to stay at home, so we were kind of moving between houses. But when we were here, it was really nice to have these 2 desks, so I could be at my own desk and she could have her own desk when we were in school. I was definitely debating when I changed the desk to whether I was keeping this drafting table or not, just because I thought that the desk was going to be really large. And I'm really happy that I could still fit it in, because I use it a ton for B-roll. Like I said, I use it every single day pretty much, actually. And I also have a pretty cool view when I'm at that desk, just because it's right in front of the window. So I found it's nice for whenever I'm doing creative things, like either writing content or even planning stuff for my job. Now let's talk about the tech that I use, so the whole setup. So I run everything on a 2020 Macbook Pro. I have the M1 chip in it, and it's the base model, so it's the 13-inch with only 8 gigs of memory and 256 gigs of storage. And while those numbers are pretty low, it does the job really well for everything that I do. The only thing I really wish I would have gone with a bit more is the storage, because 256 gigs of storage is just not enough. But thankfully now I use Dropbox, and it makes this whole process a lot easier, because I can just upload my files there, and whenever I need them, I can put them on my computer, use them, put them back on the cloud there. So there's a lot less storage management to be done now, which is super cool. And the other cool thing is that, let's say I'm shooting B-roll for, I don't know, my iPad or something, and I can just go back to a video that I did shoot B-roll for the iPad on, and I can just bring that straight into my new video, which is super cool. I don't have to go through all of my external storage anymore. So yeah, definitely a lifesaver. They're not sponsoring this video, no one is, but it's a cool product. So as you guys can see, the wallpaper that I have on my laptop is the same that I have on my phone. I photoshopped them to kind of match. And well, I'm going to be working on creating some wallpapers for you guys. It's something I talked about in my last video, and some people actually messaged me because they had a few ideas. So it's something I'm going to be working on. Super happy about that. And the cool thing about having a laptop for your setup is that well, whenever I'm leaving, I can just bring it with me, and well, I have everything there. And when I'm here though, it's plugged into this pretty large monitor via DisplayPort. So this is a 32-inch monitor by Acer. It's only a 60 Hz monitor, but since I don't really game anymore, I don't really mind it. The colors are also pretty good. They're not as good as the Mac, of course. And since I work as a web designer, well, colors are pretty important in general. So I usually pick my colors on my Mac, and then I work on the Acer there. And the reason I picked it up was, well, first, the price was actually pretty good. It's about $350, I believe. And while it was definitely really big, which was something I was looking for, because well, whenever you're using like programs like Premiere Pro, you have like tons and tons of menus and a really small kind of work area. So I wanted to have something larger, and yeah, it's been doing the job really, really well. Now let's talk about what's on the desk itself. So I have a huge desk mat by OrbitKey. I wanted to have something a bit nicer, with a nicer finish especially. And the one by OrbitKey has a lot of nice features. You can split it in half to put notes underneath it if you want to. You have a rail to either put your pens, stuff like that. And you also have a small thing to kind of lock in your cables. And it definitely feels really, really high quality. It wasn't cheap. It was just over $100 Canadian, so it's definitely not a cheap desk mat, but it doesn't feel cheap either. It definitely feels like it's high quality. And I really like the dark, well, the black leather finish on it. And it's not real leather, which means that it's super easy to clean as well. So if you have any stains from, I don't know, glass of water or whatever that are staying on your mat for a while, you can just put it like in the tub or whatever and just wash it out, and it'll be perfectly fine once again. Now, on top of the desk mat, I have a keyboard as well as a mouse, and they're both by Logitech. They're both part of their MX series, which is really, really cool if you're into productivity. They're nice, really nice devices. So for the keyboard, I have the MX keys. They just came out with a mechanical one, but I prefer this lower profile one. And the cool thing about it is it can sync to up to 3 devices. And I have another computer underneath my desk, which is actually a gaming computer, but I don't really use it anymore because I don't game. It could be a good option for editing these videos because it's a lot more powerful than my MacBook, but I don't use it a lot nowadays. However, I still use this function because I have my personal laptop as well as a laptop that my job gives me. And you have the same feature on the mouse that I use, which is the MX Master 3. And the main reason why I picked up this mouse was because of the side scrolling wheel, which is super useful for, well, editing videos, for most of the programs that I use it a ton, just because you can move in any direction with the wheels, which is a lot more precise. And it's also really ergonomic, which is super important if you're working all day long. And you can map every single button on this with their software, which makes it super useful. I have different mapping for different applications. So in Photoshop, I have a lot of shortcuts that I use that are mapped on the buttons on the side. Same with Illustrator, every program that I use really. So yeah, it's definitely a really cool device. And when you pair these two together, they're really powerful. You can even switch between computers seamlessly, as if you only had like 2 monitors and not 2 computers. So definitely really good. Now let's talk about the decorations in here. So I've talked in the past about how this room is pretty dark, and one of the main things that I did to brighten it up was I picked up these 2 posters by The Automobilist, and they're really cool. I really like them. They're really bright, so it definitely brightens up the room. I also have a smart light right there on my nightstand, and that's really nice, especially for when I'm reading later in the evening, because well, my girlfriend gets to sleep a lot faster than me, so I like to read a bit before I go to bed. And well, having a super bright light is just not really respectful for her, so I can just dim this to really low, and it's really nice. I can also change the mood of the room a bit. I like to have a warmer color when I'm filming or in the evening, and during the day I can put it a bit colder if I want to. I also have this Google Home device that I actually use quite a lot, whether that is just to know like what's the weather. It can also sync with apps like Todoist, which is the main usage that I get out of it, so it can tell me what I have to do, when I have to do it. You can ask Google to give you some reminders if you want to. It's definitely a pretty useful device. However, I found that it's actually quite a bit buggy. I don't know if I'm the only one having problems with it, but quite often I have to repeat myself twice before it understands, which is a bit annoying. Now next, I have these two shelves up there, which are just for decoration. So I have a few books up there, candles, as well as a few small cards that my girlfriend gave me as a joke gift, but I ended up keeping them because I thought they looked nice in this setup. I also have a tree of life that my grandparents made me. So in the winter, they used to go down to the States and they would gather stones, and then they would make jewelry out of it. And they made me this life of tree because I don't really wear a lot of jewelry. And yeah, it looks really, really good. I really, really like it. And I think it's the perfect spot up there. And now I also have a bunch of plants in this room because it brings a bit of life in here. Also, I feel like it makes me feel a bit more responsible, even though I kind of suck at taking care of them. So I keep 3 plants on my desk. I have a ZZ plant over there, an umbrella tree over there, and a small peperonia over there. Yeah, I think they look really nice area, especially like this small peperonia. I think it's super cute, and yeah, it's been growing really well. Then I have a stripped draconia right there, and a bunch of other plants well around. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see what I carry around in my backpack, go check out this video that I made on the subject, and well, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.